Hi all, this is Allmighty and welcome to this video. Today I decided to share once again a miniature with you. Here we have once again a game by Mikhail. Since you all liked, I guess most of you did like the last game I covered by Tal, and some of you haven't even seen it, I decided to share another game by Tal. But this one is much more popular and much more famous. This time Tal played, in this game Tal played against Janusz Szukszta. I hope that is the pronunciation, a very young Polish master in 1956 in Sweden. And probably most of you have already seen that game, but I have stumbled upon it once again and decided to show it on my channel since I haven't already. So there it is. Tal is with the black pieces, and of course when white plays d4, Tal goes for the King's Indian, as he did for most of the time. Especially in that time, 1956 was a King's Indian time for him. c4, g6, knight to c3, and we have bishop to g7. e4, d6, stopping e5, immediately f3 going for the Saemisch variation, and then castles. Bishop to e3, e5, so all in the main line, and now knight from g to e2. c6, and queen to b3. And this is one of the sidelines where, the queen decides to go in front of the pawns, not going for that standard pawn push on the queen side. And now pawn captures on d4 and knight captures on d4. And seemingly white doesn't really have a lot of problems here. So he has developed most of his pieces still. The bishop needs to be developed, and then he needs to decide where to castle. But when you play against Tal immediately notices that the king is on e1 still, and there is, if he wants to go kingside castle, he still needs to develop the bishop. So then you need to open up the center, and this is what Tal does immediately. He plays d5. We have pawn captures on d5 and pawn captures on d5, and here you could have quite honestly just gone for maybe even knight captures on d5 or developing the bishop, but here black tempts fate against Tal and plays pawn captures on d5, and this allows Tal to actually play a rook to e8 and pin this bishop, and this could have been the point where the problems could have started, because now after this capturing on d5 could be an option because of bishop captures on d4, the bishop is pinned, and a lot of other things. But white all of a sudden is in big trouble. But after pawn captures on d5, Tal decided to play knight to c6. In his style, he decides to threaten the enemy and play moves such as this one. And honestly, this was actually a very big mistake made by Tal, because here pawn could have easily captured on c6, and okay, this is something that did happen in the game. And after rook to e8, instead of king to f2, you could have just played queenside castle, and if rook captures on e3, then you have this pawn captures on b7. Bishop has to capture, otherwise you capture the rook. Queen captures on b7, and now it doesn't seem like still white is up a piece, even though it's an undeveloped piece. It doesn't seem like black does have some kind of an attack. Bishop to c4 with bishop to b3 is coming, covering all threats, and yeah, that is pretty much it. White could have continued this game with a piece up and also a pawn. But here, instead of going queenside castle, probably young Polish master was frightened of Tal, thinking that if he goes queenside castle and c file and d file will be soon open, that this could bring him a lot of trouble. So he decided to play king to f2. But now Tal is back on his own, and he can play rook captures on e3. And this rook captures on e3 is just an amazing move. It brings stability to the position and continues with the attack. King to e3 was actually the best move here, and after which knight to g4 needs to be played. Pawn captures on g4, and then queen captures on d4, king to e2, and bishop to g4. In this situation, we have white grasping, just gasping for air, honestly, being a rook up, but still the king is in a very big attack. He needs to defend himself really seriously. King to e1, rook to e8, then knight to e2, and queen to e4, just holding the position. And now threatening bishop captures on e2 with bishop captures queen to e2, so queen to d1 must be played, but then bishop to b2, attacking the rook with bishop to c3. All kinds of threats are possible, so here in this situation, black is definitely a very, he is in a very good situation. So, knight to g4 is a move that you should see, but honestly here king to e2 is the continuation you search for. So bishop to d4, pawn captures on b7, bishop captures, queen captures on b7. You can just go for some attack with queen to e8, maybe capturing on c3, and then just continue with the game. But okay, this is all something that could have happened. Here, instead of capturing the rook, we saw rook to d1. But now it is definitely all over, because now you're in Tal's territory. Near the end, knight to g4 is coming, and this is just a beautiful knight jump, which just forces white to capture, because otherwise bishop will capture on d4 and the king on g1 will be helpless. Pawn captures on g4 and bishop captures on d4. The threats of captures with discoveries are too great, so here rook captures on d4. Queen captures on d4, and now queen to d5. White for the moment thinks that he has gotten out of it, because now the queen is attacked and you have to move it, and there are no more discoveries. Maybe even you will pick up the rook. But here Tal finds a double check, rook to e2. And quite honestly, the only thing that you can do is capture with the king, capture the rook with the king. If you play king to g3, then queen to g4 is checkmate in 1. So here you have to capture, and this runs into none other than bishop to g4 check. So everything is forced here in this situation. King to e1, rook to e8 check. Bishop to e2 has to cover, and now rook captures on e2, and actually it was in this position where Mr. Janusz Szukszta resigned the game. And why did he resign? Because honestly, it doesn't make sense to continue, of course. King to f1 is the only move with the king, and this comes with the checkmate with queen to f2. If you pick up the rook, like knight to e2, then queen to d5. And there are no hopes for this pawn to capture or c7 and then go for a promotion, because whatever white plays, he runs into check and the pawn will be picked up. So this is a very nice, I would say one of the best games I have seen by Tal, other than that mistake, knight to c6, where Tal could have been punished. This is just an amazing game, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. That being said, I plan to probably cover a little bit more games from Tal, especially in this miniature series, because you could honestly find a couple of nice ones. That being said, I would like to thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.